cherish all the time you spend, you tuned into. It's time again to cherish all the time you spend, you tuned into. It's the number one podcast. The topics of discussion when we broadcast. So all them artificial man jokes, we do it natural from the concrete to a public standpoint. Real, wherever you're from, life is coexisting, but to know the real, you just gotta listen. Wherever you're from, life is coexisting, but to know the real.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to the 52 Scott Podcast. I'm your host, K Money, and in the building with me, my co-host Slash, Freddie G, and Comedian 96. Collectively, we are the Mind of Men. You can find us on X, formerly known as Twitter, at 52 Scott Podcast, Instagram and Facebook, the 52 Scott Podcast, and if you're on YouTube, don't forget to like and or subscribe. Welcome, fellas, to another True Tuesday episode. Today, fellas, I thought I'd do an update on episode 83 that we did where faking your death goes wrong. And for those listeners that by chance hadn't gotten a chance to catch that show, this is where a 45-year-old man, Ryan Borgwitz, was reported missing on August 12th after failing to return from a fishing trip on Green Lake about an hour north of his home in Watertown, Wisconsin. They searched for his body for 7 weeks, only to find, his kayak and tackle box containing a set of keys and a wallet that contained his license. Eventually, the officials, uncovered evidence that proved that Borgwitz had fled to Europe by way of Canada. And this is where, it started somewhat of a domino effect after these type of clues were found that, he possibly was still alive. Well, since then, and again, this happened on August 12th, Borgwitz has now flown back to the United States on his own recognizance. Mainly, he wasn't pressured to come back. And my thing is, why the hell would you come back if you went through all the trouble to fake your death? What do you expect to gain from coming back, right? After pulling a stunt as such? And I'm sure, it's possible that, the reason he fled, things didn't turn out the way he anticipated them to turn out, which is probably one of the reasons that he probably did choose to come back to the States. But my main thing is, like I said, if you go through all of this trouble, why would you, what would possess you to even want to come back to the United States? I just don't get it, fellas. You have any ideas?
Man, that's crazy.
I do.
Uh-oh.
So, his conscience. Think about it. Once his wife got wind that he's actually alive, she made her plea. The kids made their plea. And if you were with an individual for that long, I'm sure at some point there was love there before the possible lust kicked in for you to flee the country, go see this other woman. So his conscience, just plain and simple, it ain't nothing. His conscience got to him. Because you got to think, I don't know if he's going to be facing any criminal charges. I don't know. But if you say, you know what, I'm facing these criminal charges, I'd rather just stay here. This woman that's treating me good here. Right. I left to go be with this woman here. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going back there because I might get locked up any goddamn way, and I'm going to be away from my wife and kids. Right. So the hell with that.
Man, I would think that you would know that you're going to be locked up, though. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Again, his conscience.
Now, my thing is this. To go be with another woman, that's not enough reason to fake your death in the first place. I don't see that being, for me anyway.
I agree. It wasn't serious enough. He right. And he was married for over 20 years and had teenage kids.
That don't make sense.
The obvious would be, man, just leave. Just leave.
Yeah, if you ain't
got to fake your death. If you're unhappy, just leave.
Right.
That's the obvious, right? But for a person to fake their death and not just leave, that tells me that he doesn't have the guts to tell the woman that, hey, this relationship has run its course.
Man.
So he doesn't have the guts to do that. A part of me feels that way. And then by not having the guts to do that, if I fake my death, then my family member is not a part of this stunt that I'm pulling. They can collect money on my behalf. So I don't feel so bad because I left them with X amount of dollars for them to cash out on life insurance policies and stuff like that.
Now they don't get
that's
nothing.
why I actually don't agree with none of y'all. I believe this dude was just weak, and just for his conscience sake, he gave them that life insurance policy. But his mind was like, oh, I'm gonna go start a new life with this new girl. All that, he left all his kids. I believe his conscience and him getting caught
It just didn't work, man.
is making him go back to
I
his
think
wife.
a combination of him getting caught and it's possible, like I say, shit didn't go the way
the
he
way it was supposed
Right.
to go.
he expected it to go.
Right.
And it's possible that, you know, because he got caught, he was stressing and you know, just was panicking and just wasn't relaxed and enjoying life like he possibly was prior to being caught.
Right.
You know, but Freddie G, you mentioned his wife. She actually had filed a petition for legal separation recently after he returned to the United States. Now, legal separation doesn't end in the marriage in Wisconsin, unlike a divorce, but it allows the court to rule on the same issues that come up in a divorce proceedings, which I'm sure, you know, the insurance money that was left would be something that would be discussed in the divorce proceedings. Would you think?
Yeah, and I think that he will be liable for probably for paying it back.
Yeah, for sure.
Not her. Though,
So wait, they actually got insurance money from this?
Well, they never said if the money
they
was
did,
actually
yeah.
dispersed out to the family, but he did open up an insurance policy shortly before he left,
Right.
to which, you know, should have been paid out to the family if he was pronounced, you know, dead.
Right. Well, how long does that take though?
yeah.
I know it takes a while.
Usually if you open up an insurance policy, at least about a month or two.
Because they have to have a death certificate, right?
Yep.
No, I'm talking about before. Like, I don't think insurance companies will pay out if you open up an insurance policy today and then you commit suicide tomorrow.
Yeah, there is a time
So
frame.
there's a time frame. I would say, well, maybe 30 to 90 days or so.
Something like
I would assume.
And to answer your question, a death certificate definitely has to be produced
It has to
before
be
they go
produced,
give
right.
up some money.
Exactly.
Yeah, but if you were lost at sea,
There is no death certificate.
well, you'll get a death certificate.
yeah.
But if they can't find the body, they have to declare you dead in order to get a death certificate. Now, the cause of death would be unknown. Listed as unknown.
Right.
But if they never find a body and you're missing for so long, they'll declare you dead.
And I think it takes at least a week or two to get a death certificate from the funeral home because that's where they supposed to come from.
Yeah. So
So-
maybe she didn't get that money.
Maybe not. It's interesting though.
I think it comes from the forensics labs. Huh?
Yeah, it comes from it comes from the state, but the funeral home uses the process. They're the ones that are part of your burial and all that stuff.
All
When
of
you're
that's
going
part
through the
of it.
funeral home,
Right, because
they're the ones that's going to do the
Do the
leg
leg
work.
work, right.
Yeah, but in this case, he was faking his death, but there was no body.
Right.
So no funeral home would be
Would it be
involved.
involved, right.
Because there was no body.
That's right.
yeah, this one would have been treated as if just like the example you gave earlier in regards to being lost at sea, right?
Yeah, I mean, you're after so long, you're gonna be okay. This person's missing, and so they'll probably declare you dead.
Y'all remember the scene in what was the name of that with Eddie Murphy and Boomerang, and when they had that dinner, and when bang bang bang, and the girl came out of there, and his wife had sex, and then he started talking to the other comedian. He said, "Man, they're fucking."
Yeah.
And then Eddie, he just hugged him. But before he hugged him, he made some hand gestures like he didn't know what to say. I bet you how that man was looking when he came home and had to explain to his wife why he had been gone and said he was dead. How do you explain that to your wife? Where do you start? Where do you start with her?
I don't even think he's been able to see his wife, man, or even, you know, communicate or talk to her, to be honest with you. And
That's what I'm saying.
But I'm like you. I don't know how I would want to face.
Yeah.
How could you face?
I think we thinking too much into it. Again, I still believe that if you showed up and you came back, I really believe that your conscience got to you, and when you do face your wife or whatever, first thing that's gonna come out your mouth is, "I'm sorry."
I'm sorry.
Yeah. But
So that's
but-
how you
and you know
you
what?
lead with it. That's
At
how
that
it comes
point,
out. I'm sorry. I was
it ain't
just
gonna even
unhappy.
matter
It
what
ain't-
you say. I'm sorry.
I
now.
mean-
Well, it's not gonna matter. But here's the thing: it helps your conscience.
yeah, I mean,
When you apologize, a lot of times people apologize to try to help their conscience.
and you
Makes
know
them
what?
feel better.
The crazy part is that's some shit he got to live with because he brought that on himself.
But
Now
like-
you got to live with that.
Yeah, and like you said, Slash, that shit doesn't even matter right now, and that's all the more
Right.
reason I wouldn't have came back.
And exactly because you've already cowardly
The damage
ran.
is done.
Stay gone.
Yeah.
Because this woman don't want to have nothing to do with you. She don't care how sorry you say you are, but goddamn it, you left your family to fake your death to go be with another woman. And where's she at? Where's the other woman? You know what I mean?
yeah.
It's funny the story hardly ever mentions the other person that he left.
It's crazy,
It's
man.
funny. In
Well,
the-
I don't think that they'll have a lot on the other person anyway. The other person's from another country,
Yeah, I don't
and
think
so you would know more if this is U.S. news.
Yeah, and they weren't looking for her.
And they're
Nah,
reporting
she
on
wasn't.
him. The U.S. news will know more about him
Yeah.
than her.
This ain't like it's side piece action because they don't have much information on the woman.
But I can imagine, though, as the trial goes on, because he will be standing trial for this, more information about this lady will evolve.
Right.
I can imagine. In the wife's petition, man, she's requesting sole legal custody of their 3 teenage children,
She gonna
claiming
win
that the
everything.
marriage is irretrievably broken.
Yeah, she got that.
Yeah, it's broken
She
for
can
sure.
request him to wear a dress every day.
She got
and
that.
She'll win.
Yeah.
She'll anything she asks. He needs to wear a dress on.
Now,
Sundays.
what kills me about this whole thing is the investigation part of it being exhaustive. Man, these people had everybody out there looking for this man.
Like I say, 7 weeks.
Now,
Spent
that's
7
the
weeks.
thing. At first responders, he's going to have to pay that back. Because I know just to pick somebody up in an ambulance is $800.
Man.
Just imagine you got a search party
The
looking
search
for you.
party.
But those are mostly volunteer search parties. They don't
Well,
get
it's
compensated.
volunteer.
I don't
But-
think
but
they get
the-
compensated.
They
not
probably
at all.
don't because you have volunteers.
Yeah.
But
But
the
what if he got
company-
helicopter?
The thing is, it does cost because you got to pay for gas, you got to pay
Right.
for all kind of stuff. So on here, they say the search range between $35,000 and $40,000 on the search for this man.
That's what I'm saying. So who-
He's responsible for paying that back.
something.
Borgwartz appeared in court Wednesday and said that he could not afford an attorney and offered to represent himself. He fucked.
So man,
That's
you
all I
faked
could
your
think
death.
of.
This man done faked his death to go somewhere else, and you broke.
I'm wondering, the plane ticket back. If that was because
State probably paid for that.
That's what I'm wondering. If they paid for his flight back because he agreed to come back.
Yeah, come
they
on
would
back,
sponsor
man.
that.
Yeah.
Because we finna prosecute you.
'Cause ain't no
I
more.
believe he got some money.
Ain't no way I would have spent my last
No,
to come
he got
back
money.
and
He
turn
got-
myself in as something.
He ain't got no U.S. money, but I guarantee you he got him some Deutsche Bank, some got doggone that overseas currency, not the overseas currency, but the the overseas banks or whatever.
If that's the case, he wouldn't have came back.
Well, man, you got to think.
I don't think.
Your stomach twirl.
But you got
that's
money.
different crimes. Killing somebody, you might not gonna come back. You stole something, you ain't gonna come back. But
You
when
left
you're
your
faking
wife
your
and
death,
kids.
you gotta avoid a lot of stuff. Faking your death, you gotta go country to country with that passport.
Well, you can't
Yeah,
use the same name. Your name is gone.
You ain't got to go
we don't
country to
wanna do that
country.
for
I mean,
the
if you're already in a country that won't extradite you back to the U.S., why you got to move around?
Cause, yeah,
You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
I get it, but-
He seemed to be good where he was at.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
just should have just left well enough
He should've just
alone.
left Exactly.
Yeah.
Because you got caught, but they weren't even 100% sure that he was alive.
They hadn't already spent so much money looking for him, so they thought he was dead.
And like Freddie
Yeah.
G said,
Yeah.
his conscience, I think a phone call was made is what validated that, what they suspected actually was true. He entered the state entered a not guilty plea on his behalf and ordered a $500 signature bond. He has bonded out, since this plea, and he's expected to be convicted on the obstruction charge and faces a possible maximum penalty of $10,000 in fines and 9 months in jail.
That's not a lot at
That's
all.
not
That's
bad.
not a lot. Yeah, and that to me, the way that sounded like something off the back of a. You know, when you get caught for something, you don't really get that time.
That's a slap on the wrist.
Yeah, that's what that
So
is.
check it out. That is a lot. I'm going to tell you why. See, to people, and it's crazy how we're programmed. We know so many people
That's done more time on a drug charge.
that's been to prison and all of this stuff. And when you hear $10,000 is not a lot, or 9 months in jail is not a lot, that's because the people we know come out. You'd be like, man, that 10 months ain't nothing, or that 9 months wasn't nothing. For a person that ain't never, assuming he ain't never been locked up, for a person that ain't never been locked up, man, 1 day is too long. 1 day is
I
too
can
long.
agree with that.
Yeah, if you ain't never been in there. I
Yeah, so
understand.
if they telling him you facing 9 months, I bet you like, God damn, that 9 months, that's long.
Yeah.
For a white man.
Yeah,
a
that's
white
long.
man.
Yeah.
For a white man.
Yeah.
Because a black man, you can have one rock in your pocket and they finna give you federal time. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah,
but look at the difference now. This man done faked his death. They
Oh,
say,
yeah.
hey man, $10,000 and 9 months in jail, man.
I'm reading, it says that in their communications with Borgwich, they're expressing the importance of his decision to return home and clean up the mess that he had created. You know, I don't think there's any cleaning up that can be done. Like I said, the damage is already done. Him coming back, pretty much, he's just going to have to face the consequences of his actions. But as far as, you know, trying to rekindle his
something?
family,
Nah.
you know, that's a done deal. And the wife's recent action on filing for separation pretty much, you know, confirms that marriage is done.
Yeah. How old are the kids? Because if
They're teenagers.
They were
they
teenagers.
ain't
So I
gonna
want to
forgive
say I think it was like 13 and 15.
Yeah, I hope they forgive him, but
Well,
at that
I-
age, they gonna remember.
They're gonna
It's
remember.
be
Now,
hard.
what I don't think that they won't have a relationship with him because of their age.
Yeah.
That means he's been around their lives that long.
Yeah, that's true.
So they're gonna have a relationship. They
with him.
probably won't
They look at him side
accept what he did.
Yeah.
You know, but hey, that's still a daddy, and he ain't dead.
ain't
But
dead.
Dad, you did something.
You tripped.
You
Yeah,
tripped out.
it's totally up to them whether or not they choose to you know, have him in their lives, and I can't see why they would not want him in their lives.
Right.
And he's not going to be locked up for long, even if he is found guilty. What I said,
Right.
9 months.
9 months.
Now that Freddie G, when I do agree with you, you know, 1 day in jail is a long time, and you know the way time flies, it doesn't seem that same way when you're locked up in jail. You know, so I can imagine a person that's locked up versus somebody that has their freedom. You know, we quick to say how time flies, but to them, it's just the opposite. I can imagine.
Indeed.
You know, so I have to take that back. 9 months definitely is a long time to be locked
Hell
up.
yeah.
Because, I mean, my one experience, you know, having to deal with the law, I was locked up for a little under 24 hours, and that was too much for me. You know what I'm saying?
man.
So I can imagine, bro. And I'm not trying to get into the system to where I have to be told what to do, when to do, and how to do it type of shit. So
For that amount of time. That's
yeah,
too much.
Every
That's
day
too
out,
much.
nah, I can't
Hey,
do
that's
it.
why that Joker trying to get out with all the millions he got. You know? The
Who is
Joker,
that?
Joker trying to get out of jail with all the millions, man. 1 day was too much for him.
You say the Joker.
Yeah, the Joker that's in there now with all the millions and they won't let him out. He trying to get out of there because
Oh, I know you're
all
talking
that money.
about. I know
you
you're talking
can't
about.
get out of jail. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I know, baby
Yeah.
oil, old baby oil.
Hey,
Oh God.
Hey, but see, they already know if he did get bonded out, what he gonna do.
He
You know,
gonna fake his death.
I think he would bounce.
Take that.
But I thank y'all for joining us. Like I said, this was just an update on how faking your death go wrong. If you guys didn't check out episode 83, go back and listen to it and follow up listening to this update afterwards. Appreciate y'all listening. Come back now. Peace. This concludes another True Tuesday episode, and be sure you tune in tomorrow for another episode of Women Wednesday with Freddie G. Don't forget to follow us on X, formerly known as Twitter, at 52 Sky Podcast, Instagram and Facebook, the 52 Sky Podcast, and if you're on YouTube, don't forget to like and or subscribe. And to all my 52 Sky faithfuls, It may be new to you, but if you heard it here, then you know it's true.